Good evening, everybody. My name is Kenny Johnson, currently running for Palm Bay City Council seat 4, and we are doing our weekly Ask Kenny. All right, so today's topic is a huge topic that everybody's been asking me about, and I'm here to answer all your questions and your concerns in regards to the special assessments or the stormwater assessments. So now's your chance. I know people have been waiting diligently for me to speak on this issue, and here I am ready to speak to you today. So feel free, if you're watching this, share this video with your friends if they have questions about the stormwater assessments, because in actuality, it affects all of us. So please ask whatever question you have. Let us know your concerns, because I'm here to bring honesty, integrity, and transparency to Palm Bay. And this is transparency in its finest right now. So please feel free to ask any questions you may have, and I'll be more than happy to address them. I like to start off first by just saying what a special assessment is. A lot of people don't know what it is, but it's actually an additional fee added on to what you currently pay. And a lot of people can be misled with the wording in regards to the November 2016 election of what was said and what was stated in the ballot. So a 54% vote voted yes, and that's from the Palm Bay citizens. And speaking to a lot of the citizens of Palm Bay, a lot of them didn't have a full understanding of what it was, of what this special assessment was and what it could do and what it could bring to this city. So with that understanding that a lot of people now know what's going on, and with what happened in July 2017, where it was a 3-2 vote to pass the stormwater assessment fee, a petition has come out with everybody trying to gather up petitions to reverse what had already been voted in. So this is where we're at right now. If you have questions about any of it, please feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to elaborate on whatever concerns you have about it. But the point of the matter is, our infrastructure is almost 50 years old, and it needs to be fixed. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It's been pushed aside since before I was alive, since before a lot of the people watching were alive. These roads and stormwater should have been repaired a long time ago, but everybody's been pushing it off on the next person. And I'm telling you that we need to solve these issues today and stop putting it off on somebody else. It's going to take us as a community to work together to make sure we resolve this and that all of us have a better and brighter future.
We had a question from Daniel. It says, what would you have done different?
What would I have done differently? Speaking with Mr. Gregory Stone and Jarvis Middleton, I know for sure that the stormwater couldn't have been pushed off any longer, especially being the fact that a week after the July 2017 vote was passed, the 3-2 vote was passed, Garvey fell, just like that. So that lets you know how serious the stormwater issue was. I think we can look at what happened at the over by the Melbourne Mall as a prime example, where the road was gone. We can drive temporarily on, busted potholes here and there, but you can't drive on a broken culvert or a sinkhole. That's impossible. So I understand the need to resolve the stormwaters, but we also need to resolve the roads at the same time. And that's where I believe if we got the whole city behind a bond, that'll be the best solution. But it would take us as a whole. We've tried bonds numerous times in the past, but until we get everybody on board for it, the city of Indiana Atlantic, prime example, back in this past March, I believe, they had a special ballot to vote, and 70% of the city voted yes, because they knew that they needed to improve the city, and they were willing to do whatever it took. And they already started on their project. You can look it up for the city of Indiana Atlantic. So these are things that we need to address, and just stop pushing it aside, because these roads aren't going to fix themselves, and they're not going to pay for themselves. So I believe if we work together, we can make this happen. Any other questions? Keep them coming. I appreciate your question, Daniel. If I didn't answer it all the way, or if you have another question, feel free to ask. If anybody else is watching or just tuning in, my name is Kenny Johnson. I'm running for Palm Bay City Council seat 4. And today's on Ask Kenny. We're speaking about special assessments and some of the concerns or issues facing them with the taxing or with the roads. We're here to answer any question you may have or comments. Now's the chance. Now's your time. Other than that, you can visit us at johnsonforpalmbay.com to see what other issues we stand behind and that we're trying to resolve within the city. Feel free to share this link, share this video, so other people who have concerns may be able to watch it as well. So here we are. Like I said, special assessment is an additional fee on top of what you're paying. And we've already had the storm and utility fund that we've been paying to for years, but now we have the extra assessment that was passed after originally November 2016. Palm Bay citizens 54% voted yes, and then it was acted upon July 2017 when it was a 3-2 vote from City Council. So that's just a brief background story about it. But I would like to hear anything else somebody else has to say or ask or comment on, because this is a hot topic and it's something that needs to be taken seriously. So.
Yeah, one question. Did you sign the petition?
Yes, I did. I did sign the petition, and I'll stand with what I say right now. I believe the power always belongs to the people and should belong to the people. And with the signing of the petition, I already knew, for one, speaking to several people, like I said earlier, if you didn't hear, that a lot of people were misled with the wording of how it was originally on the November 2016 ballot. And I from what they tell me, like I said, I've been door knocking and talking to people about this issue. And from what they told me, if they would have had a better understanding, they would have voted no. But at the same time, with the voting no, and if this petition does pass, what's the solution? That's my only concern. We need to make sure we have a solution, and the solution lies within all of us. And I believe a bond is the way to go. It'll be cheaper for everybody, and it'll solve both stormwater and roads. And it's not going to take 15 years to do it.
Mike Hammer says, wouldn't you think a bond would take longer to repair? A bond is money over a number of years, where the assessments can go to work right now.
The assessments go to work right now, but based off the 15 years, I appreciate your question, Mike. Thanks for tuning in. We're going at a 15-year rate, where with the bond, speaking to Jarvis Middleton, who's in charge of all of this, they've already presented how they would do it with bond, and that they could actually have all these roads and everything repaired within 5 years. But that's, like I said, none of this can happen because they've tried to have bonds happen in the past. None of this can happen unless the whole city gets on board for it. So that's why I'm coming to everybody right now, talking to you, that it's not going to fall on me. It's not going to fall on any other candidate. It's going to fall on the city as a whole, because it affects us as a whole. Even if you're in one section of the city and your roads are good right now, you have family, you have friends, you have somebody that lives on the other side that has terrible roads, or you might go visit them and you're driving down those terrible roads. Okay? So this affects all of us, whether you think so or not. All right, we might as well take care of this now, so that way we can save on so many other issues in regards to our tires, our alignment. Shoot, we fix all these roads and solve these stormwater issues, property value is going to skyrocket for everybody. And I don't see anybody complaining about that. So let's get on board. Let's do what's right, because it's time for a change.
Daniel says, decades of voters voting down bonds because they already got good roads.
And like I said, I agree with you on that, Daniel. But it's not everybody needs to see the bigger picture. Palm Bay is just getting started, and right now we're right here when we shouldn't be down here. We should be above everybody in the whole county. In fact, in the whole state. Nobody should be looking at us in the news like, oh, there goes Palm Bay again. No. We should be looked at as, wow, Palm Bay is really doing some things, and we need to unify together to make this happen. So for those who are thinking, a bond, I'm not voting yes on a bond. This affects you whether you think so or not. Okay? It affects you whether you think so or not. It affects all of us. Currently, the road I live on is good, but I'm not opposed to it because I know I drive all across Palm Bay. I know I drive across potholes and stuff to visit my grandmother and to see her on a regular basis. And I have a Mustang, so that's low to the ground, and I'm taking some bumps and some bruises on the way there and on the way back. So it affects me even though I don't live on a messed up road. And I know a lot of people can say they've driven on bad roads throughout their week. So let's take care of this. But good question, good comment, Daniel. Appreciate it. For those of you just tuning in, my name is Kenny Johnson. I'm running for Palm Bay City Council seat 4. And today's Ask Kenny is about special assessments. So we want to make sure we answer any comments or concerns people may have. Other than that, tomorrow evening, we're having a wine-in Wednesday. It will be at 6:30. So get there about 6, enjoy some of the refreshments that we'll have. And we're going to be answering all other questions on any other topic or concern you have with the city or something you want to just know about the candidate. And it'll be at the new location. I apologize. It'll be at the new location, Wine Bar 4, right in Bayside Lakes, next to the Domino's, off of Eldron, which turns into Coda, next to the 7-Eleven. Any other questions for me, people? Keep them coming.
Daniel says, so if we lose assessments, we lose the vehicle. We would be better served if we changed it to a supermajority of the council vote versus killing the assessments. Just a thought.
Ask it again.
It sounds like he's saying we would be better if we changed it to a supermajority on the council vote versus killing the assessments.
That's one way to look at it. Definitely, like I said, this is going to be something that would take time. Like, I feel some things have been rushed, but that's a new thought to it. I like your take on it, Daniel. But I would prefer that all the citizens get on board and we get a vote by the citizens in regards to passing this and getting the roads and the stormwaters fixed at the same time. Yes, the city council and the candidates represent the city, but at the same time, this affects them more than it affects us. So that's my take on it.
Brendan Caldwell says, what is your strategy if elected to provide better education and insight to prospective voters in order for everyone to come together in order for this to get approved? Sounds like how you're going to market this to people. I'm
the same way I'm trying to market my candidacy, by just involving myself with every known group through social media, sharing, making sure people know that the information is out there, posting what events and what board meetings are coming up, because like I said, transparency is key, and I feel we've been lacking on that as a whole, and we need to provide more of that, because I can promise you that we're going to be bringing transparency to everybody, so nobody can say, oh, he didn't tell me this or he didn't tell me that. We're going to bring it. So, but that's a great question, because education is key in any aspect of life, and ignorance is bliss. So I feel if everybody's properly educated on the matter, then that's when we can come up with a formulated idea and a solution to how we're going to attack this thing.
If the people voted for it, then why are they trying to get rid of it through the petition?
From my understanding, I've spoken to a lot of voters who voted yes on it, and a lot of them are being frank about it, that they didn't fully understand what they're voting yes for. Some thought they're voting yes, okay, they're going to use money to fix my roads. I wasn't aware they're going to use this money to fix the roads or fix the stormwater, or I wasn't sure, I didn't know it was going to be this much. Like, a lot of people just had a misunderstanding of what they were voting for, so they just saw roads and infrastructure, stormwater, check yes. And I think since more people have not necessarily understanding, but they just see the effects of what it's doing, whether they like it or not, that's where the petition came in hand. So like I said, transparency is key, and we need transparency within the city hall, within the city council, with them among our people. We need that dialogue like this. We need that open line of communication, and it's there. You know, we need to make sure we're not just talking to be heard. We're talking so people can understand, and listening and not just hearing people, listening to their words and to their thoughts so we know where they're coming from. It's not about arguing, it's about open dialogue, and this is what we're providing right here.
Reintro.
Like I said, again, Kenny Johnson, running for Palm Bay City Council Seat 4. Today's Ask Kenny Special Assessments. Here to answer any questions. If you're just tuning in, even if I answer the question before, I don't mind answering it again. All right, because this time is for you. Tomorrow we have our 6 p.m. Wine and Wednesday, and that's going to be at the Wine Bar 4 in Bayside Lakes. It's right off of Eldron, which turns into Kogan, next to the 7-Eleven, and on the other side of Domino's. So tune in then, because we're going to be speaking on other issues and just having a good time and just learning more about what the voters are concerned about and what are their needs. So keep them coming. If you have any other questions, comment. If not, I appreciate your time, but we're going to give it a few more minutes before we close out. So Daniel, Mike, I'm trying to think who else asked the question. Everybody who's already asked the question, I appreciate you commenting and saying something.
Daniel has another question. He says, those with more lots get more votes. The charter states that each property owner gets a vote affected. So those with more lands get more votes versus assessments. That is 1 vote per person. Hold, there's more. That was 1 vote per person per city resident. I don't know if that's a question or if it's just a statement.
Well, I know with the special assessments for each lot you have to pay for each lot, which, you know, you own each individual piece of land, so you have to pay for each individual piece. I'm confused on what you're trying to ask though with the question. Is he commenting again? If you can elaborate, Daniel. While he's typing, once again, Kenny Johnson running for Palm Bay City Council Seat 4. We're speaking on special assessments, which this vote was put on the November 2016 election, where it was a 54% voted yes. And after that, in July 2017, it was a 3-2 vote to implement the special assessment on stormwater fees, which averaged about $177. And there's been a lot of pushback. That's why I have the petitions going out right now to try to put the vote away from city council back to the people. But the only thing with that, we need to make sure we have a solution before we just dismantle everything.
Okay, so Mike is clarifying for Daniel. He said he is referring to how things will go according to the charter if repealed. Daniel says you shouldn't get more votes because you own more land. That's the way the old charter was, which is why nothing got done.
Okay. I get what, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mike. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, because you're still one person, so it shouldn't be that way. I get you on that. Yeah, you're still one entity. You're still one person. You just own different pieces of land. But
So how does the assessment affect people who own large amounts of land?
The larger your land, the higher the cost. So for the average is like $177 per year, and that's like $1,500 to $2,700. For smaller homes, it was like $124, and larger homes, roughly like $247, $248. So that's how it affects it differently. But the average home is about $177. So if you have a bigger home, you pay more. If you have a smaller home, essentially you pay less. All this stuff, everything I'm saying, you can look up. This is public records. You can reach out to the gentleman who's in charge of special assessments, Gregory Stone of Public Works, or Mr. Jarvis Middleton of in charge of roads, and he's the director. So that way there's no misinformation. They have an open line of communication. You can reach out to them the same way I did. I reached out to them just as a concerned public citizen, and they were able to make time for me, and I'm sure they'll make time for you. So just give them a call, shoot them an email, and they'll be able to provide the same information I'm providing to you right now.
Do you agree with the manner in which members of the petition committee are seeking to get signatures?
I do not agree with the manner that some of the petitions are being acquired. I believe, like I said, transparency is key, and from my eyes, from what I've seen from a few individuals, I haven't seen that, and I've seen more pressuring or the peer pressuring or bullying, whatever you want to call it, to get the numbers that they want. And that's not how you go about it. You need to make sure, just provide facts, provide the information, and let the person make an educated decision based off what they see. It's either going to be yay or nay, and then just move on from there.
Daniel again says 22% of Palm Bay wasn't paying any assessments because it was empty lots. Many are owned by investors out of state. They all get more votes than you and I. And I think that's also goes into what we were speaking about earlier about how, because it was on the tax was on the utility bill, that the owners of these large parcels or many parcels of land didn't have to pay anything, but now that it's on the tax bill,
they lose their land.
Right. Could you talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now the way it's set up now, if people don't pay, you lose your land, which is why a lot of the individuals outside who might live elsewhere or who might have several pieces of land, that's why they have a lot of pushback right now, because now they're obligated to pay, which you should. All of us should be obligated to pay. You know, nobody's above the law. Nobody's above, the Constitution, above the Charter. So if what abides for one should abide for all. So yes, sir, Daniel, I got you on there. Anybody else? Any questions? If you're just tuning in, like I said, Kenny Johnson, running for Palm Bay City Council seat 4. Just want to bring some more clarity and answer questions in regards to special assessments.
I know, as the campaign manager, I've been fielding a lot of questions on Facebook from a lot of residents, and one of the main questions has been, where is Kenny? Where's your stance on this? Do you want to talk about the process of how you got to where you are right now?
Okay, so the process of where I've gotten, how I've gotten to where I'm at right now, just like I'm a college athlete, and both in being a college student and being a college athlete, you wanted to make sure you did your research and found the source. You want to make sure you did your due diligence before you took the final exam, or before you lined up on the field. You want to make sure you did your research on everything and found, what you're going to do and how you're going to come about it. And that's why I've been taking my time addressing this issue, because I want to make sure I don't just go off of he say, she say, and actually get down to the dirty and find the facts of it, which I've been able to find through Public Works, which anybody watching right now can clearly go to Public Works off of Malabar Road, or schedule a meeting, or give them a call, or shoot them an email, and they'll get right back to you within a week. Honestly, for me, they got back within a few days. So you got to make sure you get the right information and read it for yourself. Don't even take what I'm saying. Everything I'm saying, research for yourself. Don't just listen. I'm like, okay, he's smiling. He's probably telling the truth. Look it up for yourself. Look up what a special assessment is. Look up what it's done. Look up November 2016 election. What happened July 2017. Look it all up. Do your research. Knowledge is power.
Okay, probably the most serious question we've received, probably the most important one so far, is coming from Mike. He says, do you promise to wear a new bow tie each meeting?
I didn't wear my bow tie today, Mike, but I won't let you down tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll have a special bow tie just for you, and I'm gonna give you a shout out and everything, Mike. But yeah, I'm trying to keep up on the bow ties, so I got you next time.
And we're going into, I think, the 5th week of the campaign now. Do you want to tell people what you've been doing the last 5 weeks?
Okay, so once again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Kenny Johnson. Running for Palm Bay City Council seat 4. Past 5 weeks, I've been rallying my team together with my campaign manager, Bobby Burns, and just making sure that we've taken the time to learn the ins and outs of the city by attending the meetings, by meeting with the directors of each department, understanding their vision, understanding their goals, and if they feel that they've been meeting their goals or if they need help reaching their goals, and just getting a grasp of where the city is at. And alongside of doing that, instead of just meeting with the city hall, meeting with the directors and everything, we've been making sure we get out into the community, door knocking, going to different events, and just speaking to you, the people, and finding out what your concerns are. Because it's not just about the people, and it's not just about City Hall, it's about all of us. Because at the end of the day, when an officer takes off his badge, he's a Palm Bay citizen. When a firefighter takes off, their helmet, they're a Palm Bay citizen. When Public Works finishes working on the stormwater pipes and everything, and they go home to the family, they're a Palm Bay citizen. So every issue affects everybody. And when we look at each other as equals and understand that that's what we are, then that's when we can find true growth. So that's all I really have to say to it. I'm excited, and I'm telling you, I'm here for you, for the people. And when August 28th comes and November 6th comes, wherever the chips may lay, you will remember the name Kenny Johnson for years to come, because I'm not going to stop until my dying breath of serving and doing my duty in regards to helping the community that I love, Palm Bay, Florida. So if there's any other questions, feel free to ask. With that, we're about to close. I want to thank you again for tuning in, and visit us at johnsonforpalmbay.com. That's Johnson, the number 4, palmbay.com. God bless.